do anything for God, and I just want to praise God that He's here in this beautiful place. I mean, I felt the Spirit immediately when I walked in, and I just want to thank Joe and Cindy for asking me to come speak. And I had no idea what I was going to say. I didn't want to think about it because I just want God to just speak through me, and everything today is, I just want God to just direct me. I mean, every single moment. I mean, I'm down to the point where I just ask God to just tell me what to wear because I don't know what to wear. I just want Him to direct everything. So that's not how I was planning on talking, having to start. But where do I start? Okay. I moved down from the Bay Area 2 years ago, and I thought I was moving down here to pursue an acting career, and I did, and then it was going okay. I've been in some TV shows, but I wasn't making enough money to support myself, because supporting through my own contribution, self-supporting through my own contribution. So I decided to get back into real estate, and I was in real estate, and living my life, helping others. I was just in the Bay Area, Mother's Day weekend. I took my mom out to lunch for Mother's Day, and went to my friend's mom's funeral and spent time with my family, and actually I mentored some girls. So on Mother's Day, after spending Mother's Day with my family, which I was going to leave early, but God just told me to stay. So, and I didn't know why, and I was tired, and I thought, maybe I just need to stay and just rest. Saturday I did a lot. I just rested. I was tired, and then I, flew home back to LA on Sunday night, and then Monday morning I felt tired, and I thought, it's just because I'm so busy. We get busy, and I just love life so much. I just feel a lot. I feel myself with a lot of life, and we all have big lives and people to see and places to go, and big dreams, and I was putting on my makeup on Monday morning at about 9:30 in the morning, and all of a sudden my arm just fell, and I'm like, that's weird, and didn't think much of it. I thought, I was just probably tired, so I just went off and ran my errands, and then I was at the Beverly Center, and I'm walking through. I was in Marshall's, and all of a sudden my legs just completely wobbled, and I didn't think I was going to be able to walk out of the store, and at that point I knew something was wrong, and I texted my girlfriend, my dear angel friend Lori that I lived with at the time. I said, something really wrong is happening right now. I don't know what it is. So she's like, do you want me to come get you? I go, no, I'll just drive home, and so I can't. This is a long story. I'll try to bottom line. Okay, so I went home and I called the advice nurse, and I told her what my symptoms were, and she said, you need to call an ambulance right now, and you need to get to the ER. I'm like, that's overkill. I'm healthy. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I take good care of myself. I work out. I probably, my friend thought I might have taken, a new vitamin that made me a little nauseous, that way. So I literally put on my pajamas and I went to bed, and God told me, get to the emergency room, and put on my clothes. I was going to drive myself, and then I had this blurred vision. That's the only symptom I had, was a little tired and blurred vision. So I go to the emergency room. They told them what my symptoms were. They did an MRI, and they said, you have we found a blood clot on your brain. So, which means, I didn't even know what that meant. That means I had a stroke. I had a stroke, and they kept me overnight. They did a lot of tests. They saw I had it's called PFO, a hole in your heart, and they were trying to figure out how I had a stroke because I'm healthy and I'm young, and so they let me go. And then 2 days later, I felt like I was a ticking time bomb. I thought, wait, they just let me go with aspirin and Plavix, and that was it. And well, I was a ticking time bomb, and I had 2 more strokes. I drove myself to Ronald Reagan, which I didn't know, but it's the 3rd leading hospital. It's in the nation for strokes. So that God, was there. And I drove myself there. I had 3 more strokes actually, and what they found is I have a very rare blood disease, and it's called. It took me a while to say. It's called cryoglobulinemia vasculitis. And it took me 4 months to learn how to say that. And so it's called cryoglobulinemia vasculitis. But that wasn't the first diagnosis I had. I was in the hospital for 5 days, and they did lots of tests, and they found that my carotid artery was over 70% blocked. They let me go at the first hospital. It was 70% blocked, and that's, so basically I had vasculitis attack my artery. And so they put a stent, I had a stent in my artery. And then what kept happening is I kept getting all these other symptoms. And I'm like, well, now my right arm is numb, and now my left leg is numb, and all these, and then I'm like squeezing, and then all this burning started. So after 7 hospitalizations and 13 ER visits, 13 MRIs, and what I want to say, but God, God was there every single second. Every single second. When I was in the MRI the second time, I surrendered myself to God. I just say, God, if this is my time, it's my time. You know, it's okay. And I just surrendered myself to God, and I just felt a peace that I can't even explain. But it obviously wasn't my time. And you know, when I went in for my stint, I just, you know, it was just me and God. And it's like, people are great, but there's no relationship like the relationship with God. God's love and God's grace and God's mercy and God's strength and God's comfort. I mean, I can't there were so many like tests I had to talk about tests. And there were tests in the hospital from every day because we were trying to find out. I go, something's wrong. And I was getting prayers, hundreds, if not thousands of prayers from people on Facebook. They were asking their whole church to pray for me. And usually this kind of diagnosis takes 3 to 6 years to diagnose, and it took about 3.5 months. And praise God, the doctor that came to me that finally took me under her wing and said, oh my goodness, there's something wrong. She shouldn't have strokes. This doesn't make sense. She was a Christian. She felt called to me, and she was the one who took me under her wing, and she is now my biggest advocate, even though she's not my main doctor. And so, I mean, God showed up there are times where I was in the hospital so much, and friends, you know, sometimes didn't come. And one thing I have to let go of is any resentment or expectation of friends and family. Like, you know, God says even our own brothers may not be, literally my own brothers weren't there for me, but it doesn't matter because God will never leave us. And He will never forsake us, and He will always be there for us. So I learned to let go of all expectations and know that God provides our needs and everything that we need, our comfort. I mean, I had to do chemo on Father's Day, and my father in heaven and my dad in heaven, that was it. That's who I was with the first, and I was actually reaching out to people, and at first I was like, wait a minute, where is everybody? But now I'm like, no, God is here, and God's all I need, and He was there through that. And, you know, and now I have this very rare kind of a life-threatening illness, and right now you can't tell on the outside, but my skin is on fire, and it feels like I have a vice grip, and I'm dizzy, and I'm nauseous, and you know what though? But I just focus on the blessings. You know, the devil is alive and well. The devil, but he cannot win because greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. Amen. And no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And boy, the devil has been working overtime in my life, but you know, I just keep making God bigger. And God is so much bigger than anything the devil has to throw at me. And, you know, this is just, I just learned to just live one moment at a time. And just, we have no idea what's going to happen. When this happened, I was like, oh my goodness, life is just so unpredictable. But you know what? God's in control, and I knew He had a plan and a purpose for this, and one of His plans and purposes was for me to be here right now. And if I could just say, I mean, God's grace is sufficient for us, and God's grace is, He gives us enough grace for each and every moment. I mean, each and every day. And I joke, I say sometimes I use it up by 10 a.m., but I just go and get some more, you know, just spend some more time with God and just keep focusing on what I'm grateful for. The fact that I can stand and I can walk and I can talk and I can see, and the ocean's been so healing to me and lately, and just my prayer, you know, just spending time in prayer and meditation. And even this diagnosis is very painful and unpredictable. It's, I can't take my spirit away. That's what I'm trying to say. I just can't take my spirit away. And my biggest fear is losing my connection with God. And so, no matter what happens to us, nothing or no one can take away our spirit and our connection to God. And whatever we need to do, whether it's just bask in His presence, take time away from this world and just be with Him and spend time with Him and just pray to Him and just ask Him to remove anything that is coming between Him and I, which there were a lot. I had to ask God, just search for anything, and I had shame and I had resentment, and I just asked Him, just please remove anything that comes between me and Him. I just want to be a vessel for Him, and all my prayers are now mainly, I used to pray for silly things like, romances and finances kind of thing, and then now it's just, whatever your will is, God. I just want whatever your will is. And I just want to thank Cindy and Joe again for asking me to speak today. Thank you.